Good day and welcome to this special edition of We Pick'em Football Talk here. My name is Dominic Papa. I'm coming to you live from the We Digital Production Studio in Windsor, Ontario, Canada. For those that are watching from out of town, we thank you for tuning in. Of course, this is it. This will be our final show of the year. What a season it has been for the NFL, and what a tremendous playoff season with outstanding football being played. And maybe to some, at least one of the teams, probably a surprise. Who day? But I love it that Cincinnati made it. I've talked about quarterback Burrow all year, and he never let me down. What a great player he is and going to be. And, of course, the Matthew Stafford story from our area, of course. We're very familiar with quarterback Stafford. And you know what? This is the biggest stage he'll play on, so let's see how he handles it. Before I get to my guest, speaking of the Super Bowl, of course, a lot of Super Bowl parties out there. My good friend Tommy at Tommy's Barbecue. Oh, my God, is he ever doing it up for us? He's got a package deal that he has put together. It's got everything you could dream of. It's got, well, according to Tommy, there you could see it. He's got these things called rib buttons. He said you'll never eat another chicken wing again. So, but he gives you 15 pounds of rib buttons, cornbread, baked beans, coleslaw, fries, 2 pecan pies, the barbecue sauce. He's got the garlic dip for the rib buttons. Beer is also available. All of this for $270. Pretty good deal. Mm-hmm. And now here's the real kicker, though. If you buy that Super Bowl package, your name goes into a draw, and you could win ribs once a month for a year. So 12 months, 12 ribs for 2, the full trimmings, everything. So pretty good deal if you're a fan of ribs, and most people are a fan of Tommy's Ribs. So his number is 254-1111-519 area code. He's taking orders, and you know what? Saves you a lot of headache with cooking and cleaning up, that's for sure. Now, let's get to our guests on the show. Let's go first with the head coach of the Blue and Gold, the University of Windsor Lancers. Works extremely hard with that group. He's still plugging away. He's getting that ship turned around slowly but surely. And always love talking football with this guy. Head coach Jp Churchill joins us. Good day to you, Coach. Thanks for doing this with us. I know we had you on earlier in the season, and that is his tradition. We get you on for the Super Bowl. I would imagine you're pretty excited about this game this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me, Dom. And you're right. Who could have predicted a better set of playoffs? And I think it's even better if you don't have a team in the race, because it's pretty anxious watching all these games coming down to a kick. So definitely looking forward to the game. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
I think most of us around here, not myself, my team was out a long time ago, unfortunately, but most of us Lions fans, we knew we didn't have a chance getting to this game, so it was already a done deal. But I would imagine, Coach, spring camp just around the corner for you?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, we had another setback with closures there in January, so we're hoping by the end of March to get up and get back at it.
All right. Well, hopefully that'll be the case. And like I said earlier, appreciate you giving us some time today, and we'll look forward to your thoughts about the upcoming big game, the Super Bowl. Also joining us on the show, again, another regular for the Super Bowl show, and he works hard with the Essex Ravens football program, coming off a championship season, and also on the mend, I believe. Coach Glenn Mills joins us. Good day to you, Coach Mills. Are you still on the mend?
I am, yeah. Still, I'm finally up on a cane. I'm getting around a little bit better, but still got the cane going for right now. So,
yeah. So hopefully soon you'll be running, and we can get you back into that playing weight and make you nice and lean, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure that's going to happen again, but I mean, I would nice thinking, nice wishing.
Nice thinking. Give us a quick update with the Ravens program, Coach, as well. I would imagine some things getting put together for spring training.
Yeah, well, right now we it's nice to finally be able to get on a field. So we're doing a little bit of stuff inside at Central Park Athletics, doing a little 7-on-7. We're going to hit, I think, 4 tournaments with some receivers and DBs and some of the skill set guys, and then we're going to hopefully roll into our program early April. We'll do some meetings and probably a few practices before that, but hopefully we'll be at the U again in April, and we'll get rolling mid-April, and we'll start playing in mid-May.
And you added another level of football, if I remember that correctly.
We did. We added a Pee Wee age group, which is 11, 12-year-olds. So grade 5, grade 6 age group that we had it years ago, and we kind of dropped it, and we've had a big request to bring it back. So we're going to bring it back and have those guys play again. So.
Always good to keep the kids busy. That's for sure, Coach. Appreciate your time here today. And again, I'll look forward to your comments on the big game as well. Also joining me on the show today, this guy coaches at all levels, including with my guest in studio here. He coaches with the Fratmen. He's coached with the Ravens. He's coached at the high school level. He coaches. That's what he does. And he looks like a coach too. That's for sure. Coach Sean Gwinnett joins us. Good day to you, Coach Gwinnett. And thanks for doing this with us. And how goes the off season for you?
Thanks for having
me. You probably
probably
don't get an off season.
No, I get an off season right now. We're kind of waiting for everything to open up again and get back at it with all levels. Really, high school, I'd love to see back.
Yes.
And then with the Fratmen, we would need to get in the weight room and get guys busy again and back on the field. Obviously, that would be nice.
Coach LaSange is smiling about that.
You need to get them O-line going, man.
Yeah. Good stuff. Well, good year last year, that's for sure. And unfortunately, it came up on the short end, and I'm sure that will get rectified somehow. But appreciate you giving us some time here today, Sean. That's for sure.
Thank you.
Of course, Coach Morency, Coach DeMore, who usually join us, they were unavailable today, but they did send me their playoff pick, who's going to win, and their MVPs. We'll get into that a little bit later on. Got to introduce this guy. He came into the studio today, and I appreciate that very much. Always nice to have company here with me, because usually I'm sitting all alone by myself, but nice to have the head coach of the St. Clair Fratmen, longtime coach and former great player, Coach Mike LaChance joins us. Welcome to the show, Mike, and appreciate the time. Off season's been busy for you.
Yeah, it's crazy. We hit the ground running. It was I think I started recruiting around 5 a.m. on Sunday after the championship game, and we haven't really stopped. The coaching staff's been doing a good job following up with kids and bringing some kids in, flying some kids down from out west, and a couple of Americans. So it's been a busy offseason so far.
Yeah. Of course, the new stadium, we talked about that on numerous occasions during the season. You knew it was a drawing card. And now that you've got the 1 year under your belt and some players have got to see it in action and feel it, how has that contributed? Do you sense that there's even more interest now to come to St. Clair and play?
Yeah, there's a lot of excitement, not only in the area, but outside the area. Just the word travels quickly as the only real college team in the country. It's just a little bit of a difference maker with the kids. And I mean, Coach Churchill could certainly attest to a coach at the university level. When you call from a school, it certainly carries a lot of clout compared to as at the junior level. Typically, it's a lot harder to convince parents to send their kids to you when you're coaching junior football than when you're coaching at a college or university level. So.
Yeah, Coach Churchill's got a good stadium to work with for sure at the university, and St. Clair's got one as well. Coach Mills, we got to get you a good stadium, right?
Yeah, well, we're in the process. We just met with the town of Essex. We're in the process. I think you're going to see a shovel in the ground, hopefully by next March, on a state-of-the-art complex at the corner of Victoria and Number 3 Highway. With some investors that are going to do that. The town's moving the sports complex there, so I believe it's going to be there. Yeah.
All right, nice. Well, we wish you luck on that, and hopefully that happens. Okay, of course, it's LA and Cincinnati. The Bengals shocking the world right now. LA, I think a lot of people, with the trades they made, the big trade with Stafford. I mean, they made it clear right from the get-go it was a Super Bowl or nothing. And so they've made it to the Super Bowl. So full marks on accomplishing that, because no doubt they played with a bullseye on their jerseys this year. But, a couple of other additions during the season. Cincinnati, boy, oh boy, they've just, like I said, shocked the world, especially Kansas City. I think Kansas City's still scratching their head and wondering what the hell happened there. But let's get into some of the numbers, coaches. First, I'm going to ask Evan, my producer, let's bring up the defensive side of the ball, some of the numbers that we've put together here. And, we see some of the key individuals for each team. And, I think I'm not a big fan of numbers Some of them are, I think, deceiving. I know in a lot of sports, stats are always deceiving, so I'm not a big fan of it, but sometimes it does tell a story, I guess. Coach Churchill, when you look at those numbers, is anything there that stands out to you? Is there something about one team's defense that could really be a game breaker here?
I think both teams had pretty solid defense. I mean, you look at the job Cincinnati did really throughout the playoffs, because you could make the argument they could have lost in the first round there against the Raiders, and they've just found a way to get the job done. And I think a lot of credit has to go to their defensive coordinator for kind of adjusting at halftime on a regular basis. And you saw how great Mahomes looked in the first half, and then how pedestrian he was in the second half. A lot of that credit goes to really, I'd say, a no-name Cincinnati defense, if you really consider there's not a lot of star power, but man, they play great zone defense and really don't let you have anything deep. On the flip side, you look at the Rams, man, they've got
They're
such
loaded.
a fearsome.
Yeah, loaded everywhere.
Yeah, they're just so fearsome on that front line that I think that's probably going to come down and be one of the key factors in this game is, can that Cincinnati offensive line hold up the Rams defensive line? I think most people are going to give the edge to that Ram defensive line.
All right. What do you think, Coach Mills?
You know what? Again, I counted Cincinnati out last week. They were getting whipped up on by the first half.
Shame on you, Coach. Shame on you.
This is
I
over.
did the same.
Honestly, I thought it was over, and then they come out the second half, and man, it was a completely different football team, and they come back and end up winning. And again, everything points to LA. I think LA is just a better football team, but after seeing what they did with the Chiefs, I'm kind of leaning towards Cincinnati. I just think it's a destiny to win. I just think they're going to win it.
All right, good stuff. Were any of you guys saying who day as these games went on with Cincinnati?
Who day?
Who day? Everybody's like, who day? What do you think, Coach Gwinnett? Defensively, where do you go with this?
Like Coach Kelly said, the Rams have that front four, front three, whatever they run, and they're lethal. Like, I think they're going to wreak havoc on Joe Burrows and their offensive line. But I don't think that the Rams secondary can keep up with all of these young guns that Cincy is going to throw at them. There's so many weapons that Joe Burrows can throw to.
Yeah,
I don't think they're going to be able to keep up.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I would love to see the Rams win just for Stafford and Odell and whatnot, but I'm pulling for Cincy.
Okay, well, we're going to get to the predictions in a bit, guys, so try to hold off a little bit. I know you're anxious.
Okay.
Jumping at the bit here. It's all good. We'll get your scores, trust me. Muhammad has already chimed into the show. Muhammad's picking the Rams 38-17 over the Bengals. Thanks for tuning in, Muhammad. And our good friend across the border here, Susan, oh boy, you talk about Stafford, Coach Gwinnett. She's like anybody but Stafford, baby, and that's her.
Yeah.
That's what Susan has said. So, what does that tell you? I think it's kind of split there. We'll talk about that in just a minute, Coach. I want your thoughts about the defense and what's going on with both these teams.
Well, statistically, I mean, usually when you get to the Super Bowl, you throw the stats out the window because it's one game, winner takes all. But it's hard to ignore that front four of the Rams. I mean, you've got three potential Hall of Famers on that D line too, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But they just take over games. I think at any given moment, a guy like Donald will just take over the game. And I think arguably he's the best player regardless of position in the NFL. So it's really hard to ignore that. And the fact that Burrow got sacked 9 times in the first week of the playoffs is hard to ignore as well. So everybody knows it's hard to win the game at quarterback when you're on your back. And this game is going to be no different. So if they could pressure him and keep him in the pocket and make life rough for him, it's going to be tough for Cincinnati's offense at times.
For sure. Okay, we'll move on from the defense. Before we go to offense, I want to go to the specialty teams. I know we've got some information regarding that. I want to look at the specialty teams. And this is where I do think Cincinnati has a big edge. I'm just not a fan of Matt Gay. He's shaky at best. Mm-hmm. And I just, anything past 50, forget it with Matt Gay. Yeah, and I think that's in today's game anyways. I think that could be a concern here. Coach Mills, let's talk a little bit about these special teams and anything stand out to you there.
You know what? No, like you said, the guy, young man McPherson from Cincy, I mean, he's been clutch kind of, throughout the playoffs and solid throughout the year. I mean, he seems to love that type of stuff. I think this game again is going to come down to a field goal, and I wouldn't be surprised if that young man walks out and wins a game for him. So I just think that's the way it's going to finish.
Boy, he's already shown like he's got some ice in the veins with what he's already done. But Coach Gwinnett, how's your kicking game?
Yeah, my kicking game's horrible, but no, that McPherson kid, he's full of confidence, and he can hit from all over the field. And I think you're gonna, like Coach Mill said, is you're gonna hear him at the game say, "Well, I think we're gonna win the Super Bowl." He's gonna go put one through. I think that kid is clutch, is for sure.
Yeah, even Matt Gay's the veteran, and I just think his better days are gone. Coach LaChance, you love kickers, right?
No, I hate kickers, actually.
That's why trust me, I knew where you were going with that one. But
I know
I've seen Coach Mills and
championship game, and it's not a good feeling. And I don't think that McVay wants this one to come down to special teams. That's for sure. Yeah. He could talk that he's confident in Matt Gay, but Matt Gay doesn't look like he's confident in Matt Gay most kicks. And like you said, if a kick is in that 48 to 54 range, they say that's his range. I'm not so sure that he truly believes that right now. He's not kicking with a lot of confidence. And Evan McPherson, I guess what you don't know, you can't be scared of. So he's young and dumb, and sometimes that's effective, right? So.
Yeah, really, no pressure on him.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Coach Gwinnett?
I said I've seen both coaches.
Well, Coach Mills too, yeah.
Neither one of them are kicker fans.
I don't like
the only one that's
a different breed.
Smiling about this topic is Coach Churchill, and maybe he's got a good Italian kid kicking the football for him. I don't know, but what do you think, Coach Churchill?
Yeah, if you look at during the regular season, Matt Gay was actually having a pretty productive year, and now he's had some key misses in the playoffs. I think nothing more glaring than against San Francisco in your own building. You would think, all right, I know the lay of the land really well. And I think you look at McPherson, he's kind of had his own coming out party as a freshman. Kind of look back at that mid-season game against, maybe it was early in the season against Green Bay, where they went kind of toe-to-toe in overtime and came out on the wrong side of that. But I don't think he's missed since. I mean, he's been automatic. He's been clutch. Maybe taking a page from Joe Burrow, because he's pretty cool and calm when he gets up there as well. So yeah, definitely the edge to Cincinnati.
Yeah, I think everybody's picking Cincinnati in that regard, anyways, with the kicking game. And again, I just haven't been impressed with Matt Gay. He just, even when he comes out on the field, he doesn't look confident, as Coach Churchill was saying. So it'll be interesting. Again, it could be a big part of the game, that's for sure. Evan, throw up our next stats page that you've got for us. Okay, here we go with the offense. This is pretty interesting stuff. Try to digest all of this. And, Stafford's numbers are impressive, as always. I'm going to let Coach LaChance go first here and break this down. And is this where the game really comes down to, Coach?
You know what? I think both teams are going to do what they do well. Burrow is going to be Burrow. He's been ice cold. Everybody knows he's Joe Cool right now, and he's playing at a high level, playing real confident. Stafford's capable of winning a game and losing a game by himself. We know that he's got that Brett Favre. He pulls that inner Brett Favre out, and he's a gunslinger. So I would expect greatness out of both guys. I think they're both there. They both got there the right way, different ways, but they both got there the right way. They're both hard workers, good guys around the locker room. So you kind of root for both of those guys. But I think really the game will come down to each of their weaknesses in a certain way. Which team, in particular, head coach / offensive coordinator, who's going to be willing to run the football? Because neither one of them do it very well.
Yeah.
And neither one of them have good linebacking cores either. So it's one of those things where who's going to be patient enough to run the football when it matters, and they don't have to have 40-yard runs. They can get those 4.5, 5-yard runs and really move the chains. And that's when Stafford's at his best, is when he has a team that could effectively run the ball. They don't need to have a 150-yard rusher. But if they have 125 yards rushing as a team, they're pretty tough to beat, because he could be the difference maker with that receiving core they have.
All right. Coach Gwinnett, why don't you follow up on that? Okay, we've lost your audio.
Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry, guys, I was muted there. I don't know if Cincinnati's going to be able to run against that front that the Rams. I think it's going to be more of an air game for Cincy. But I think the Rams are going to do pretty well with the run. They don't do it well, but I think they'll do okay with the front that Cincy puts up. So I think the Rams are going to have a better running game than Cincinnati.
Okay, and Coach Mills, I'll let you go next. I'll save Coach Churchill for last here.
You know what? I think Cincy is going to obviously run the ball. They're going to attempt to run the ball, and I think that's half the battle. Just even attempting to run the ball. Mm-hmm. One thing with Stafford, I find he tries to, he gets in modes where he just forces, and he makes some bad decisions, and it ends with turnovers and things like that. And I just think Joe Burrow's a little bit. He's that gunslinger. He just doesn't care. Like, he thinks he can do anything, and sometimes it's good, and sometimes it's bad. But it doesn't seem to bother him. He'll come right back out and do it again. Whereas Stafford often tries to do too much, I think. So I think you will see Cincy. I don't know how successful they will run the ball because obviously the front seven, the D line especially, is outstanding. But I definitely think they're going to try and push around the football a little bit just to keep guys honest and stuff like that.
All right, Coach Churchill.
Yeah, I really believe whoever can run the ball the best is going to have a lot of success. If you look at the trouble Kansas City got itself into in that second half, the way Cincinnati's playing defense, a lot of times only coming with a three-man rush. If they had just run the football, I think they'd get themselves into a better position. And this way, if the Rams can establish that run, they've got a good enough offensive line. It takes a lot of that pressure off Stafford. And he's got a lot of great weapons he can go to, but it's not, like Coach Mill said, we don't have to make you the star. You don't have to force anything. So if they can establish a run, that'll give them some success. And I think anytime we've seen Cincinnati, whether it's coming back or hanging on, it's when they start running the football. And again, it's not always, 10, 15-yard runs. Sometimes it's 2 or 3, but just to keep those defenses honest and maybe slow down that pass rush of the Rams. So really, as many great stars as there are at the receiver position, I still think it comes down to you got to be able to run the football and stop the run.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Absolutely. The thing that it's funny is if you look at the Bengals, the way they coach the game on offense, and I guess it shouldn't surprise us because the coaching tree of McVay, but it reminds me of the Rams running game the last time they went to the Super Bowl when Gurley had to get through the line of scrimmage almost single-handedly to get a solid run. Mixon has to work hard just to get through the line of scrimmage. They don't necessarily block it real well up front. Their offensive line's poor. They're not strong. They have 2 real weak players on that offensive line, young guys. So it's one of those things where it's very familiar looking, but it looks like the Rams a handful of years ago when they ran the ball. It looked like a struggle, and it was all on the running back. So we'll see if Mixon can carry him a little bit. Whereas I think the Rams schematically are a little stronger that way. The way that they run the ball and their kind of their mentality with it. And maybe that's McVay just getting better as a head coach and an offensive coordinator.
Yeah. Coach Gwinnett, you got something there?
No, I think I agree with all the guys. Like they're going to have to force the run. I agree. Mm-hmm. But I think it's going to be more of an air game for Cincy.
All right. Evan, is there any more stats that we got to throw up here? We did. Oh, the defensive side. Didn't we talk about defense already? Oh, these are some different numbers, though. You can look at. So, again, passing yards, pretty even as far as what they give away.
It's really close.
Yeah, everything. It's all pretty tight. Jeez.
That's really close.
Yeah, all those numbers are really tight. So. Yeah. So if you look at this one, it's going to come down to a field goal in overtime. So probably the way it's going, according to the stats, anyways. So why even bother playing? Why bother playing the game? Just go to the overtime right away.
Win it.
Okay, so there's a couple of sidebar stories here. Of course, it being that we're in Windsor, across from Detroit. The Matthew Stafford thing, I've talked to quite a few people about it, and it seems like it's split. A lot of people are saying, boy, it'd be nice to see Stafford win a Super Bowl. And then there are others like Susan who said anybody but Stafford. So Coach Churchill, you got any thoughts about that? And I mean, Stafford seems to have put the Detroit thing behind him, and he's talked about loving to play with the LA Rams.
Yeah, I think it's easy enough to want to root for Stafford because there's that closeness and seeing what he did for this community for so long. But I find, and maybe you guys can pipe in as well, but it's pretty tough to root for the Rams when they're kind of this Hollywood team that spent all sorts of money bringing big name stars in, and then you got this Bengals team. It's like, how do you not root for them? They're such a lovable team, and they weren't supposed to be there, but their leader is so cool and calm. It's hard not to root on the Bengals.
Yeah. Like they say, who day? I love that. I just think it's perfect. I can imagine how many T-shirts have been sold with that thing on it. Coach Mills, Stafford.
You know what?
And don't talk about Tom Brady. Give us Stafford.
Listen, he's a class act. I'm going to tell you, just watching the way he goes about his business. I heard just even not too long ago he came back and gave a ton of money again to some charities in Detroit and took care of some things here. He is a class act. There's no question. Would I love to see him, win it? Yeah, just ego because the way he's handled his business for the last 10, 12 years. Absolutely. There's nothing bad you're going to say about the guy. I think anywhere he's played, he's been a class act and he's been a leader and he's been a football player. Then you got the young kid, Burrows. I mean, it's funny. I heard a stat and I'm not sure. I think it's correct. I tried to research it, but there's never been a Joe lose the Super Bowl between Joe Flacco, Joe Namath, Joe Montana, and all the other Joes. They've never lost.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's a cool stat.
Yeah, I actually seen that stat, and I kind of researched it, and I couldn't find a Joe that lost the Super Bowl. So, I mean, I might just go with Joe Burrow just because of that.
Now you just put big pressure on him, though, to keep the Joe streak going. That's for sure. You liking Stafford there, Coach Gwinnett?
I'm a Packers fan. Everybody knows. I've gone to a lot of Lions games, and I have a lot of respect for Matt Stafford.
You and Coach Morency are just in mourning, still in mourning. Oh my God!
Oh, it still hurts. Anyways, I have a lot of respect for Matt Stafford and his wife for everything they've done in Detroit. Would I love to see him win a Super Bowl? Of course I would. But I think Joe is just the big show right now. He's on top of his game, and sorry, Matt, but it is what it is. Who day, Coach?
I'm a big Matt Stafford fan, and I think it's funny that LA's the glitz team and they have the humble quarterback, and Cincinnati's the Houday team, and they've got a guy wearing a mink coat and a headband to practice like he's becoming a Joe Namath. That kind of stuff annoys me a little bit. If my quarterback showed up like that, I would probably make him get off the bus. But of course, if he threw the ball like Joe Burrow, I'd probably tell him to get back on. I think it's kind of funny though that you have such a brash young guy that's coming to the league, and it's accepted, I guess, in this case. Usually we frown upon things like that, but in this case, everybody's kind of gravitated around it. And why? Because he's winning. And when you start losing and you do stuff like that, you're an idiot. When you win and you do stuff like that, everybody celebrates you. So Burrow's put a lot of pressure on himself. I know he might not show it, but he's had to have put a lot of pressure on himself by being that outwardly kind of guy. And you've seen what kind of flack Cam Newton got when he started to get bad. When he was an MVP and he wore the hat with the feather on it, everybody thought he was cool. When he was a bum wearing the hat with the feather, everybody thought he was a bum. So it's one of those things where I kind of like the humble Matt Stafford in this one. I think that he's done everything he can do in the league just from a humanitarian standpoint off the field. But on the field, all you have to do is listen to his former teammates. And there's dozens of them that are coming out now that are getting together for watching the Super Bowls, and they're all rooting for him, and they all say that he's always been this good. It's just he was hidden in Detroit in that dumpster fire that they call a football team now. So it's one of those things where you want to root for a guy like that. That's the kind of guy you want to win. But we'll see how it plays out. Both of them are wildly talented.
Tell us how you really feel about Detroit.
Well, I love it. Hey, I'm a Lions fan, but I mean the talent that they put around Matthew Stafford and the coaching they put around him. All you have to see is what he's done on the Rams in year one. And it's unprecedented, really, to have that much success statistically, to have the success he's had in the first year.
The Lions don't have those guys, though, Mike. The Lions don't have the guys he has.
No.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. They couldn't build it.
I'd I'd probably look good throwing the ball to some of those guys. Those guys.
Well, Jared Goff didn't look good. Jared Goff didn't look good throwing the ball to the same guys. So.
And
Cooper Kupp's an MVP with Matthew Stafford. Without him, he was a very good player, but he's a much better player with a guy like Matt Stafford throwing him the football. And everybody wrote off Odell Beckham Jr.
Yeah.
Now he looks like an all-pro again.
Yeah.
There's something to be said about that. I mean, Matt Stafford spent a lot of years throwing to guys named Chris Durham and the like that nobody knows of, right? I mean, everyone wants to focus on Megatron, but that was only one guy.
And Kelvin Johnson's been very supportive of Matt Stafford.
Absolutely.
He's said a few things where he's right in Stafford's corner and pulling for him. That's for sure.
Yeah, I just think everyone's get caught up in the interceptions and stuff like that, and that happens when you're a gunslinger. And Brett Favre went through it too, but people forget that he's got the most fourth quarter comebacks of any quarterback in the last 12 years. So,
Coach Mills, I appreciate you putting that vision in my head of you throwing a pass. Just beautiful.
I saw Coach throw in an indoor men's football league, and he wouldn't throw the ball to Cooper Kupp and have success. Sorry, Clint. You might tackle Matt Stafford, but you're not going to outthrow
on that side. I can see you hitting a few guys, but throwing a football, just not the prettiest sight in my mind. That's for sure. It's all good though. Pressure was mentioned, and I know everybody. When you play a sport, there's always pressure. I get that. In every sport you play, there's pressure to win, pressure to perform. But I've said this about Cincinnati throughout these playoffs, and I've said it. This is why they've got a good chance. This team, nobody expected them to be where they are. No. Nobody expected them to win their first round playoff game.
Not the division.
Not their division, for that matter. So really, I think this team has embraced that in some ways. Yeah. Obviously, they've used it as motivation. Mm-hmm. And I still think it takes away some of the pressure on this team. Nobody's expecting them to win against LA here again. They're the underdog again. They've been the underdog throughout. So does that play as a factor in this game? Coach Churchill, let me hear you first on that.
Yeah, I think that whole underdog mentality, it seemed like Cincinnati kind of threw it out the window instead of why not us? They expect to be there now. So I think they've gone through that narrative long enough, and I think at this point they expect to go in and win. And it might come down to, sometimes some of that coaching. Who does a better job of getting guys ready, and the fact that McVay has that experience, and I think he's publicly said he would have done things a little bit differently from that first Super Bowl, and maybe that gives them the edge to kind of get that team where it needs to go. Whereas Zach Taylor's probably just really excited to be there because, like we said from the onset, no one expected the Bengals to maybe even get to the playoffs, let alone where they are right now and winning the division.
Coach LaChance?
Yeah, I agree. When it gets to this point, I think in the Super Bowl, this big of a stage, both teams have that feeling that they should be the favorite. Both teams look at it and think that they're going to win. I don't know if there's any added advantage to be the underdog. And if you look at the betting lines, I think it's like 52-48 or whatever % of people who think that they're going to win. So I don't know. I think publicly, there's quite a few people who think Cincinnati could pull this one off. So I don't know if it's an advantage or a disadvantage at this point.
Coach Mills, how do you handle the pressure here?
You know what? It's the NFL. These guys are pros. They've been playing on this stage for a long, long time. A lot of these guys understand what's at stake. I think for them, they're going to show up and, hey, it's let's let her fly and let's play. And I think that, I don't know if there's much pressure. I mean, poor Matt Stafford, that guy's played for pressure for the last 10, 12 years playing in Detroit, just pressure to win a football game.
Running for his life.
He's probably excited about going to the Super Bowl. But in the NFL, I don't think there's, I don't know. I don't think there's a lot of pressure. I probably think there's more pressure on the coaching staffs than there is on the players personally.
Yeah, that's a good point. What do you think about that, Coach Gwinnett?
I think you look at Matt Stafford, like the guys have said, is he's been in pressure his whole life. He's running for his life. He's played with broken fingers. The guy is good now. Like he's got a great line. He's got a running back behind him. He's got wide receivers, 4 that he can throw to. So I don't think he's feeling any pressure. You look at Joe Burrow, smoking cigars, and he's chill, man. Like he is good to go. Like I read a thing today that he is the first round pick to go to the Super Bowl in his second year. So he's the earliest, And then Matt Stafford is the latest, being a first-round pick going in his 13th year. So I don't think either one of those guys have much pressure. And I think, like the guys have said, it's more the coaching staff. And, I think you got a team of the Rams who's a bunch of older guys who are hungrier. But you got a bunch of young guys on Cincy who are just freaking ready to go. And I think they're gonna do it.
Okay, we got to get moving here, guys, a little bit, and we're going to get to the best part of the show here where we ask for the predictions. Before we get into that, I want to remind everybody again, if you're putting together a Super Bowl party here in the Windsor, Essex area, you may want to call Tommy's Barbecue. He's got a deal for you that is just outstanding. For $270, you're going to have a ton of food. You're going to have 15 pounds of rib buttons. You're going to have fries. You're going to have cornbread. You're going to have baked beans, coleslaw, pecan pies, the barbecue sauce.
Oh, yeah, they have good pecan.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Garlic dip for the rib buttons, 12 pops, also some beer if you want it. Call in your order, $270. But the kicker to this, too, the food is great. But if you buy the package, your name goes into a draw that will be drawn on Sunday, the Super Bowl, and you could win ribs for 12 months, a whole year, complimentary of Tommy's Barbecue. Not a bad deal.
Pretty good.
All right. Marty Adler, my good friend Marty Adler, has chimed in, and I'm glad to always hear from Marty. Marty has said Stafford will find a way to get behind early, and he won't be able to catch up. Cincinnati wins this one 35-31. That comes from the man, Marty Adler. Thanks for tuning in, Marty. Coach Morency, I did talk to him earlier today. He is going with LA 28-24, and he is picking, you go back to the defensive side there, Aaron Donald as the MVP from Coach Morency. Coach Joe Demore, he's got the Rams by 10, and he's got OBJ as the MVP.
Wow.
Yeah.
Of
Coach
course
Moore's
he does.
done
He
good.
loves
Hey,
OBJ.
listen,
That's
he loves
giant.
Yeah, he started
Exactly.
as a giant. But I'll tell you what, Coach Demore has done really well
He's
on
been
this
really
show
good.
over the years.
Yeah.
Coach Demore has been pretty solid with
He's
his
been
picks.
solid.
So, not that I'm going to follow his ass because I've got my own thoughts, but that's from Coach Joe Demore. So I'm going to get the new guy first on the show here. Sammy Upprichard has tuned into
That's
the
a good
show.
one. I like that one. That's my favorite
He
comment.
says we got the best three coaches on the show. So,
Yeah.
well, I think I've got four
There's
phenomenal
Sammy.
coaches.
That Mills,
So,
he left
yeah.
me out.
Yeah, but that's maybe Sammy.
Come on, Sammy.
What three coaches are you talking about here? But I think I've
He's
got.
talking about me.
That's what I said. He left me out, John.
But let's go with the new guy first on the show here. Coach Gwinnett, you get first crack at this.
All right.
You got to tell me who's going to win, by how much, and who's your MVP, and how many pounds of wings are you going to polish off?
Oh, okay. So I'm going to go with Houday.
All right.
Got a coach back in Florida, the coach Matt, that was a huge Cincy fan. He's kind of turned me on to him. So I'm going to go with the Bengals. I'm going to go 28-31.
He's backwards.
Whatever.
You throw
The Bengals will
curveballs at me,
win.
Coach.
31-28.
Okay.
MVP, I gotta go Joe Burrows.
All right.
He's done it with the Heisman. He's done it with the national championship. He's just a winner.
He's pretty special. I can't argue that one with you. That's for sure. Okay, so Coach Gwinnett's got Cincy winning 31-28 by a field goal. Boy, oh boy, there's a surprise.
See.
And Joe Burrow as his MVP. Coach Mills.
You know what? I'm gonna go just simply because of the stat with the Joe. I'm going with the Bengals. I as much as I'd love to see Matt Stafford win it, I think the stat will continue. I'm gonna go with Joe Burrows as the MVP. I'm gonna go. Geez, I don't think it's gonna be as high as that. I'm gonna say 24-21.
There you go.
Cincy.
All right. Who you liking for an MVP?
I'm going to go with the cool hand Luke, man, Joe Burrows.
Boy, oh boy. The young guy's really made a mark. Coach Churchill, I'm really anxious to hear what you have to say.
I think the Rams are just too powerful, and I really believe there's going to be a key turnover and probably a Matt Gay miss that makes the game closer than it should be. I think it's going to be a game that we look at and say the Rams really outplayed them. So I'm going to go Rams 24-20. Make sure the field goal's a non-factor. Get Matt Gay out of there. And the MVP, I think he's going to have a big game is Cooper Kupp.
Oh,
There you go.
Yeah. Nobody's
Love
talked
Coop.
much about him, that's for sure. Like I said, I like Coach DeMore's pick there with Odell Beckham, but Cooper Kupp, I mean, he's been Matthews' guy all season, so he won that Triple Crown thing. So good pick there, Coach. I like that, Coach LaChance.
I agree with Coach Churchill. I think the Rams are just too powerful at this time. I think maybe to win a championship, Joe Burrow is going to have to do what he did in college and leave Ohio and go somewhere else to win it. Everyone forgets that he did leave Ohio State and go to LSU, so I think he might have to do that and go play for another team. But I'm going to pick the Rams 27-24, and I will pick Matthew Stafford as the MVP.
Woo.
I think I like the Cup situation. I like the OBJ situation, but I think if he spreads it out like that, he'll have 2 or 3 touchdown passes and just play a real solid game and win that one. I think statistically, the quarterbacks win the MVP at quite a big clip too.
Yeah, so. Tom Brady.
Yeah,
of course. Okay,
All
so
the haters.
No, I don't hate the guy. I just, you know what? I keep it in perspective, as I tell people. He had a phenomenal career, but I'm glad he finally retired. That's for sure. Coach, you must have cried that day or something.
You know what? Listen, he's a winner. I mean, again, it's about time. Like the fact that he's playing at that level at that age is honestly ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. I can't argue that.
If I had a wife that looked like his, I would have retired a long time ago.
I'll let Laura know that, boy.
Hope your wife's not watching.
But legitimately, she's loaded.
I hope Laura's not watching.
Coach, you've got
right?
only, you know what? Next week you won't need that crutch because you're going to be bedridden next week after that comment. So, but hey, I give you full marks for having the cojones to do that. That's for sure. I think
the MVP should probably go to the San Francisco 49er that was covering Cooper Kupp in the long bomb there.
Oh boy!
Or the defensive coordinator who made that call.
Yeah.
Oh my God! It shouldn't even
bad
be
time
in
to throw a blitz.
But anyway.
All right. I'm going Cincinnati. I've got them at 27-23. And an MVP, I've had a hard time with this, and I can't remember. Now I'm losing. I had it when I came on air, and I'm forgetting his name. Who's the tight end there? Oh, my God. I can't believe it.
Uzoma.
CJ Uzoma,
Yeah. There it is.
Yeah.
Thanks, Coach Churchill.
That would be a big MVP for a tight end. Has a tight end ever won
what?
the MVP?
Yeah.
So you know what? I
might be.
like to stick my neck out a little bit here. So I just think it would be something different. And I you know what? The NFL, they go with their favorites. I get that. I just full marks to Coach Morency picking a defensive guy. Which never really happens, right?
Not very often, but if it's going to happen, it'll be
He
Aaron
is a
Donald.
defensive guy.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. So that's it. Good stuff. So we're in. I'm sharing my headset here with Coach LaChance. So enjoy the Super Bowl, guys. Really appreciate your time as always. It's always fun to talk to you guys, and we're our community's blessed to have football leaders like yourselves. So keep up the great work, Coach Churchill, Coach Mills, Coach Gwinnett, Coach LaChance. Keep working with our young athletes. You make it special, and I really have fun with this show with you guys. So enjoy the Super Bowl. But remember, be a good example for your players. Don't go overboard on the food. Pace yourselves. I don't have that worry. So,
and for the record, it's going to be 4 pounds. 4 pounds of wings I'm putting back at least.
He's cutting back this year.
Coach Gwinnett, jeez, you're going hard
Yeah.
at the
4
table.
pounds plus the
Boy,
ribs.
Man, oh, man, jeez.
Well, I'm gonna have
Good
to call
stuff.
Tommy's to get me that 15-pound deal
Tommy's,
now.
yeah,
so
get in
we'll
there,
have
get
to
in
do
on that.
that.
Coach Churchill, do you change it up? Do you put a little bit of pasta in that Super Bowl day? I hope so.
No,
No.
not
Oh.
on the Super Bowl day.
Yeah, right.
It's like chili, wings, hoagies,
Yeah.
whatever we can get. It's got to
Oh my
be,
God.
got to be that kind of food, not pasta.
Boy, they
Yeah.
totally transformed you into that football guy. Got to keep
That's
a little
right.
of the Italians. Got to keep a little bit of the Italian stuff there. Some pasta or something. I don't know. But good stuff. Enjoy it, guys. And again, appreciate your time here today. That's it. This is our last show. I've had a blast doing it this season. I want to thank my producer, Evan White, who's been outstanding. Kyle Horner, of course, joined us throughout the regular season with his segments. He just brought the show to another level. And we'll be back next season, hopefully, if everything falls in place. And we're looking to do some things a little bit different already. So to everybody that watched and tuned in and even commented on the show, we certainly thank you for that. And again, hopefully all of you will enjoy the Super Bowl. And you know what? As I say to everybody, stay safe. We're making some headway with this pandemic. So continue on being vigilant in leading, good protocols. And hopefully we get to see Coach Churchill, Coach Mills, Coach LaChance, Coach Gwinnett, doing what they love on the sidelines and everybody else playing sports again. So let's stay safe. Okay, everybody. On behalf of everybody here at We Digital, this is Dominic Papa signing off from the We Digital studio. Thanks again for tuning in. Enjoy the Super Bowl, everybody.